You know, I feel like when you see a weird human trying to like bite you and they have like worms crawling out of you, I think you should run. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great day. Today we are going to talk about something different. I don't think I've actually done only one video about Italian horror films, and today we are going to talk about a very popular one, the 1979 film Zombie. I'm actually pretty excited. I mean, I've watched a couple of good old Lucio, some of his films, and I've watched his, I think it's like the Gates of Hell trilogy. I have watched those, but I've just never talked about them. And I was like, we should, maybe this year I'm going to try and talk about them. I need to do some rewatches. I think what I'm going to do is do one movie at a time, and then I'm going to do like a review of the whole trilogy. I think it'd be kind of fun because I do have a favorite trilogies coming out soon. I think maybe April. I think that's where it's aimed at. Somewhere on the calendar it's on there. Anyways, we're gonna talk about Zombie. Now this movie, I was interested. I watched a YouTube video and they were talking about zombie movies, like Italian horror films with zombies, and I've been wanting to watch this one for a long time, and I just never did. But it was on Tubi. I'm telling everybody, watch Tubi. Tubi is insane for their movies. I'm like super tempted to cancel a lot of my subscriptions and just use Tubi because Tubi slaps. It's so good. It blows my mind. But this isn't about Tubi, kind of. This is about Zombie. Now this movie Zombie is actually pretty good. I think it's well shot. Obviously, special effects and the makeup and everything, always looking good. I thought that was the best part, and the story was all right. I think the idea that it starts off on an island, like a lot of zombie movies where it just starts off somewhere small and then you have a doctor that's trying to figure out how to cure it, I think that was a really cool element. But this movie starts off with a boat just sailing into New York, and police officers are like, oh, maybe no one's on there, we can just take the boat and we'll make some money. And they're like, laughing. And then of course one of them goes down to the bottom. I think it's the poop deck. I don't know. I'm not a boat specialist. So he goes down to the bottom, gets mauled by this big zombie, and he gets eaten. Special effects looks great. Even now, even almost 50 years. Yeah, wow. I feel old hearing that out loud. Looks really good. I will always say that with practical effects will always age way better than CGI. If you don't believe me, just watch a movie. It feels like if you watch a movie like 10 years ago that's only CGI, it does not hold up very well. And it's just how it feels. But if you watch something from the 80s or the 70s and it's practical effects, well done practical effects, I need to put that in there, always looks good. The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, looks great. The Blob looks great. American Werewolf in London looks great. Zombie looks great. All of it looks so good and I love it. So I got to see that. Really gross, a lot of blood. And that's the thing with good old Lucio. He loves his like quick zooms or slow zooms. That's what I kind of think of, and especially when it comes to the gore and eyes. I don't know what his deal is, but he likes zooming in on someone's eyeballs. It's just like, boom, eyes. And I always thought that was a really interesting aspect of it. Once this whole fiasco is over with, the other police officer shoots the zombie and the zombie falls off the boat. And I was like, oh gosh, it's kind of getting in the water. And that's what the movie's gonna happen. That's how it's gonna start. Now, I never seen the trailer for this movie. I really don't. When it comes to older movies, I just watch them. I don't really do trailers. I'm like, we'll see what happens. They just move on. And I was like, oh, so the zombies virus is not going to leak into the water. Okay, fine, whatever. I mean, I'm not going to complain. That's fine, whatever. And then we get to I guess the main characters. Now, I'm going to be honest, they don't really have, like, I'm looking at, like, their cast on here, and they only have a couple of the characters' names. Like, they don't have one guy's name, and he's, like, the bald British guy. Hey, he's not even on here. It says James, but I don't think his name was James. Doesn't matter. This woman named Anna is on here, and Anna wants to find out what happened to her dad. Her dad was on the island that this boat was from, and she wants to get there, and she's with this news reporter, and they go on the boat, and they make a noise, and this police officer like walks down there to figure out what's going on, and they're like faking, like making out and banging, and they're like, oh, how dare you, and all that. So they're just gaslighting this police officer. Very funny. I actually thought it was kind of funny. So then they figure out they need to go to this guy named Brian and Susan, and they get in the ship, this boat, to go to this one island. And as they're getting there, you get to see a really cool scene with sharks. Not really. Susan just gets naked.
Yeah, boy.
That was such a funny scene in that whole movie too. As Susan's like, I'm gonna go undersea since we're just chilling right now and I'm gonna take pictures. I was like, okay, you know, cool. And she just gets naked and just goes in there underwater. She's taking random pictures and there's like a shark swimming around and she's like trying to avoid the shark. And it was cool, but in my head I'm like, I don't think sharks just randomly attack people. I don't think so. I think they draw by blood. I could be totally wrong, and there's gonna be like a shark expert like, no, they'll just kill anything, which could be happening. I have no idea. I'm not a shark guy. I don't watch Jaws. I don't watch Shark Week. What do I know? Anyway, so then she like pops out of the water and she's like, there's a shark, there's a shark. Brian, her boyfriend or husband, whatever he is, starts shooting the shark, does nothing. And then she like hides from the shark and she gets grabbed by an arm and it's a zombie under the water, just chilling underwater. And I was like, what is this dude doing? And she like tangles with him and she grabs like this weird seaweed and put him in his face. And then there's like a easily maybe 2-minute long scene. It's not like 2 minutes straight. Easily 2 minutes of this movie is a shark fighting a zombie. It was hilarious. I tried so hard not to laugh. I thought it was so wild watching. I was like, what am I watching here? But it was shark versus zombie, man, and I was here for it. There is some cheese. I will say, all these movies that I've watched from this director, there is some cheese in it. Doesn't mean the story is always great, but man, it was fun to watch. And during all this time when these characters are trying just to get to this island, we actually have the doctor on the island with his wife. Now, the doctor's name is Dr. David Menard. He is actually trying to figure out this this disease. And he actually thinks it's from like voodooism. He doesn't believe it, but everyone on the island believes it's voodooism that's going on, which is actually kind of cool. And his wife, who doesn't have a name on Google, apparently, Paula? I'm going to call her Paula. I think that's how you pronounce it. Who knows? So she wants to get off this island. She's like, yo, you're driving me nuts. I got to get off this bad boy. And he's like, well, and he like slaps her in the face because she's like yelling at him and all that. He told her to stay there and he makes his like gardener watch her. And I was like, man, this could be a really freaky movie. This could be like a very adult movie, you know?
What do you mean by that?
About 5 seconds, but it doesn't lead to that. What happens is the doctor's trying to figure out, you know, what's going on. And he's just like booming people. As soon as they turn into zombies, he booms them right in the head. Interesting stuff. Later on, his wife, it's at night, and the gardener and his dog are there, and they see or hear something, and they just dip out. So then you get to his wife, and his wife is just booty naked. Just got done with a shower. She's just standing there naked, like wet and everything. And there's like a weird zombie hand there. And it was like, oh, okay. She fights the zombie. Like she goes into his room and tries to close the door, and the zombie breaks through it, grabs her head, and pulls her head, and her eyes get stabbed through like a thing. I've also noticed the director loves doing things to eyeballs. Like I watched New York Ripper and he loves doing things with eyeballs. Maybe he has like a fetish for it, but I don't know. I'm not gonna judge. I think it's really, I always thought it was interesting doing gross things to eyeballs because like when you think about how them pop and everything, doesn't matter, it's gross, but it's cool. She gets ripped through the door. It was super funny. Like it was actually not funny, but it was actually really cool. I really liked the suspense in this. He does a really good job at making suspense when the zombies are appearing. Like when Susan's out swimming, you know, butt naked out in the water, the suspense in it was real. I was very, very like, wow, is she gonna die underwater? Nope, she doesn't even get bitten. And then we get to the island, the whole crew's there, they meet the doctor, and the doctor's like, you can go to my wife's house, you know, you can go to my house, my wife's there, whatever. So they all go out there, and arguably this is the best scene of the whole movie. They go inside of the house, and you get to see the wife getting eaten. Now she's already dead, but she's just like laying her, and all this 4 zombies just eating it. Practical effects literally scaled to 11. I think it's the best scene of the whole movie. If you want to talk about gore wise, I think it's the best scene of the whole entire movie without a doubt. And of course they're all traumatized, and the news guy, James, we're gonna call him James, grabs like these antler things and beats the crap out of one of the zombies so they can escape. What happens is Brian clearly can't drive. He whips it, crashes into like a tree, and James messes up his ankle, like legit messes it up pretty bad. I just thought he sprained it, but he's like, I can't walk. Proceeds to walk like most of the rest of the movie. Like maybe it's adrenaline, I'll give it the benefit of doubts, but when you see his wound, you're like, brother, how are you walking? And they are walking, and they decide to take a break because James is so sore from walking. And I was like, Brian, you need to help him. Susan, Anna, one of you need to help this fool and just help him walk because he clearly can't walk very well. And then they decide to chill, and James and Anna just like lay down. They're like about to start making out, and I was like, why? Why is this happening? Brian and Susan go ahead and they realize they're in a cemetery, and I was like, ooh, this is gonna be crazy with like the Spaniards. So it's really cool stuff. And then all of a sudden, a hand starts coming out and grabs Anna's head, and another hand grabs James' ankle, his messed up ankle, and you just see the hand squeeze, and I was like, yeah, nice and close too. So Brian dips out, leaves Susan in the cemetery, goes to help them. Arguably, this is probably the best scene of the whole movie because you got to see the zombies, but like their details are not that great until you see this one. This one like slowly, like legit, rises from the grave. It was so cool. And the whole time when this was happening, Susan's just like like this, sweating and stuff, and I'm like, why are you not running? Like, of course it's movies, but it's like, I would give it the excuse if she's never saw one yet, but she literally encountered one underwater and she had plenty of time to run because this thing's just like, and its hands like slowly coming out. It was cool. It was arguably the best scene of the whole entire movie. I liked it a lot. Then the zombie like just immediately latches at her like a freaking cobra, bites her in the neck, rips her throat out. She's dead. Rest of the movie, she's dead. Lays there dead. Brian, James, and Anna show up. They kill that zombie. I mean, Brian like grabs her. He's like, Susan, and he like hugs her, lets her go, and leaves. I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, so they'll all get to this little building where the doctor is. And this is like the final thing. They start fighting the zombies. The zombies start killing the doctor. Kills this nurse. Kills this other guy. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Whatever. Then at the end, they're all leaving. Brian, James, and Anna, after the whole building's on fire. Brian sees Susan as a zombie. And he goes up to her and talks to her. And guess what she does? She bites him. And then they kill her. Then they got on a ship. And Brian is like slowly dying, and they just lock him in the basement because James is like, we need to show them the proof. And he gets on a radio, and then they hear about all the madness of zombies in New York. And that's how the movie ends. So this movie, I actually enjoyed it. I mean, I give it a 3.5 out of 5. I don't think it's his best movie. I personally always liked House by the Cemetery. I've always liked that one the most. But in general though, I think this one was fine. It wasn't like the worst movie I've ever seen. It's definitely not the best movie, but for a zombie movie, it's fun. There's some weird scenes. I think probably the funniest scene was the shark versus zombie. I actually thought that was really funny. I don't know why. I kept watching, I'm like, what am I watching? But other than that, I thought it was fun. I think the practical effects is obviously the best part of this movie, and besides Susan and her little shark scene, I think the movie was really fun and it was more enjoyable than I was expecting. Practical effects always up to 11. Character wise, I think it was fine. I just think it was weird that they were like at the cemetery and James was like, yo baby, and then him and Anna were just about to start making out, and then a zombie is like, this is a zombie movie, bro, not some slasher film. So I just thought that was interesting, but I did like this movie. I think the coolest part is every single time the zombies appeared, he had this like cool, like deep, dark music. If I could play it over, if I could find it, I'll definitely play it for a moment. If not, you'll just watch the movie on Tubi. I'm telling you guys, it's on Tubi. I think House by the Cemetery, I'm pretty sure the Gates of Hell trilogy is on Tubi. Tubi is such a go, I'm telling you guys. But in general, I actually liked the movie a lot. I think it was fun. A 3.5 out of 5. It's just a fun movie. Doesn't mean it's the best movie I've ever seen. Doesn't mean it's the worst. I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts on this movie. What other movies should I watch from him that are not The Gates of Hell or New York Ripper? If he has other ones that I should check out, let me know down below. I think I am going to do a rewatch of New York Ripper and talk about that one too later this year, but I am going to do the Gates of Hell trilogy this year as well. I've already marked them down. I think I'm going to do one like maybe every other month. I don't know, depending on how many views these videos do, then I'll let you know. But anyways though, I really did like this movie. I think it was fun, but yeah, I'd love to know all your thoughts down below. And of course, make sure you guys don't go to any islands. Well, that just sounded really weird, especially with other things going on about islands. Yeah, so just avoid islands. I think we should just avoid islands altogether.